Monday Night Raw starts off with a Jey Uso promo. He starts mentioning Money in the Bank and how he's eventually going to climb the ladder and be your new Money in the Bank winner. Then he starts mentioning the Wyattsicks attack. Chad Gable comes out. He comes in the ring. Jey Uso mentions the attack that happened on Chad Gable. Chad Gable ends up mentioning how he isn't afraid and how they shouldn't be attacking him and how they soon will be going after Jey Uso. He the one who took the Fireflies from the Wyattsicks. Chad Gable ends up mentioning how he's innocent, how his family left him, and how they're going to eventually attack Jey Uso because he ends up leaving the bloodline. Jey Uso ends up responding, ends up basically telling Chad Gable, ends up saying that he already told them that they could have the Fireflies black. He don't even want them if it's going to be that big of an issue. Then he ends up alluding to that he left the bloodline because, Roman Reigns was a manipulator and that his family did the same thing that Jey Uso did because Chad Gable was a manipulator. Chad Gable ends up attacking Jey Uso. They end up having a brawl, but Jey Uso ends up getting the upper hand. Jey Uso is about to go for the Uso splash, but Chad Gable ends up avoiding it. Once Chad Gable leaves the ring, the lights turn dark, the fireflies start going off, and then the music hits again. It's panning towards Chad Gable. The light is all on Chad Gable. The light is, the floor is getting foggy and everything. He starts trying to run away, and each time he's running away, he keeps encountering another member of the Wyattsicks. I think he encountered like 3 members. I don't think he encountered all 5. He encountered like 3 members. Like, kept on running. He's running all over the arena, and he keeps encountering a member of the Wyattsicks. I love what they did there. Then they end up panning to Nikki Cross again, who ends up giving another VHS tape to Michael Cole, and later on in the show they end up playing the VHS tape. I love what they did here. This was a great opening segment. This was a great way to start off Monday Night Raw. Next, we get Karrion Kross versus Xavier Woods, still building up the rivalry of Authors of Pain and the New Day. Karrion Kross trying to break up the New Day, try to get one of the members of the New Day to break away from each other to join him. We get towards the end of the match. Karrion Kross had the upper hand. He gets a little cocky, gets a little too arrogant, and then Xavier Woods ends up getting a roll-up pin, picks up the victory. After the match, though, New Day are celebrating. Then you get the Authors of Pain. They end up attacking the New Day. Now you get Xavier Woods on the outside. He ends up getting tossed into the barricade by the Authors of Pain. And then you get Karrion Kross comes up from behind on Kobe Kingston, my mistake. And then he ends up basically snapping his arm. He has him in some type of submission line, holding his left arm and just trying to snap it in half, trying to snap his arm. And that's the end of the segment there. I love what they did here. Building up Karrion Kross. They're really trying to push Karrion Kross. This is something he absolutely needs. And this is probably the most heat, the most attention that Karrion Kross has gotten since he first debuted, because he was actually getting viewed. He was actually getting a reaction from once. And Karrion Kross is actually talented. He just needs something. He needs a good match, first of all. That's one thing. Because one thing I would say, Karrion Kross does not have any good matches on the main roster. He needs a good match, but he also needs a good feud. Hopefully this can build him up. Next, we get Judgment Day. Get a Judgment Day segment. Damian is talking to Dom. He ends up mentioning, has he talked to Rhea Ripley? Dominic Mysterio ends up saying that everything's good. He talked to Rhea. She's okay. But Damian Priest ends up telling him that everything's not okay because he just talked to Rhea Ripley and she is mad. She's upset. And basically, he needs to end this Liv Morgan thing. Dominic is kind of making excuses, keep on saying that it's not his fault, that he's going to end it. Damian interrupts and ends up saying that you keep saying that, but you're not stopping it. You keep on, basically, you're not doing what you said you was going to do. Dominic Mysterio ends up getting a little upset. He ends up turning away from Damian Priest and ends up saying that you're starting to sound like my father. But when he said it, he turned away and kind of mumbled it under his mouth. Damian stops him and ends up wanting Dominic to repeat himself. He's like, what did you just say? You go ahead and say it. Dominic Mysterio ends up avoiding it, ends up not saying it. They get in the locker room. They get in the clubhouse. Then you see Liv Morgan is there. And they just chilling. They're not even they're just chilling. They're hanging out with her. JD, Carlito, Finn Balor, they're all just hanging out with her like she's just a part of the group. Damian Priest, of course, is upset. He's like, he don't want her to be in there. Finn Balor starts, justifying why she's in the clubhouse, why he's hanging out with her. He's like, she helped us bring the tag titles back to the Judgment Day, and she's been helping us out while you haven't. And then he ends up mentioning how Damian Priest put his place in the Judgment Day at jeopardy, with the whole Seth Rollins promo. And he ends up saying that everything that's wrong with the Judgment Day is Damian Priest's fault. Finn Balor starts mentioning what he said last week to Seth Rollins, how he doesn't need the Judgment Day. Then Damian Priest ends up responding. He ends up saying that what he said was not true. He's the champion. The same way how Rhea Ripley was the champion. They needed her more than she needed them. Same thing now with Damian Priest. And he ends up saying that the reason why he put his position on the line is because he knows he could beat Seth Rollins. Finn Balor ends up responding, ends up saying that he understands that he can beat Seth Rollins, that he is his brother, that he will always have his back, and he'll always be honest. But the truth is, ever since Damian Priest has won that championship, he has changed, and that's the end of the segment there. They're starting to build up the tension between Damian Priest and Finn Balor and building up a potential babyface Damian Priest with Finn Balor potentially turning on Damian Priest, potentially costing him Money in the Bank. I can't wait to see how that plays out. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait. This has been really good. I love the buildup of this. Love how they've been really building up this Judgment Day story with Liv Morgan, adding the Liv Morgan revenge toward her, corrupting the Judgment Day. This has been really good. I can't wait to see how they play this out. Now we get Selena Vega versus Liv Morgan for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. This was actually a very solid match. Selena Vega did her thing. Selena Vega is very underrated. She was really good in this match. Her in-ring work is really good. But we get Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. They end up coming out to the ring. Dominic Mysterio is trying to help Selena Vega. Rey Mysterio is trying to make sure Dominic don't pull any shenanigans. We get towards the end of the match. Dominic Mysterio is trying to help Selena Vega. And Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio starts getting into the confrontation. They're going back and forth. And Dominic Mysterio ends up getting shoved by Rey Mysterio. Liv Morgan comes and does a baseball slide to Rey Mysterio to end up taking Rey Mysterio out. Now, Liv Morgan is hanging on the ropes in perfect positioning for Selena to hit the 619. She hits the 619. Then she ends up converting it into a DDT. Goes to the pin, but of course, Liv Morgan kicks out. Liv Morgan is not going to lose her first title defense. After Liv Morgan kicks out, Dominic Mysterio gets back up and he tries to give Selena Vega a chair. Throws the chair in the ring and distracts the ref. Selena Vega takes the chair, but she ends up using the chair to attack Dominic Mysterio. Attacks Dominic Mysterio, throws the chair outside the ring, but this sets up Liv Morgan to hit her finisher, the Oblivion, and she ends up retaining her WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship. She retains, which continues the Liv Morgan revenge tour. Only makes sense. This played out perfectly. Dominic Mysterio still can't finish the job to have Liv Morgan get dethroned. She can't have her drop the title, and this is just playing up the story. This is great. I love what they did here. Next, we get Seth Rollins. He comes out, about to cut a promo, basically mentions Damian Priest, mentions Money in the Bank. Then Finn Balor comes out on the microphone. He ends up saying that he's upset. He's not in a good mood. He's not in a good mood because everything is changing in the Judgment Day. He is changing what it means to be in the Judgment Day, and that he blames Seth Rollins for this change. Seth Rollins basically is annoyed. He's like, he doesn't even believe what he's saying. And he ends up saying that you're only saying this because you're jealous of Damian Priest. You're jealous that Damian Priest was able to do the one thing that you couldn't. Damian Priest comes out. Seth Rollins immediately thinks it's a trap. He thinks the Judgment Day is about to jump him, but Damian Priest is trying to calm Seth Rollins down, trying to tell him that, no, I don't need the Judgment Day. This is not a trap. I just came out here to talk. And then Damian immediately gets in Finn Balor's face and ends up saying that I don't need any member of the Judgment Day involved in my business. He immediately has a stare down with Finn Balor. Finn Balor, of course, isn't liking the way he's looking, but he ends up stepping down. He's still in the ring, but he ends up stepping down for a moment. Seth Rollins and Damian Priest have a little back and forth, but then Finn Balor ends up attacking Seth Rollins in the middle of the promo. He attacks Seth Rollins, constantly attacking Seth Rollins. He got Seth Rollins on the ground. And then Damian Priest walks up to Finn Balor and ends up grabbing him to lift Finn Balor off of Seth Rollins. He's talking to him, trying to tell him that he doesn't need his help, that he wants to do this alone. Seth Rollins ends up super kicking both of them at the same time. Then he ends up hitting a curb stomp on Finn Balor. But then Damian Priest comes out of nowhere, hits his choke slam on Seth Rollins, and that's the end of the segment there. Next, we get a Money in the Bank qualifier match. We get the last Money in the Bank qualifier match for the women. We got Zoe Stark versus Ivy Now versus Dakota Kai. This match wasn't that long. Going to get towards the end. Kairi Sane starts interfering in the match. She tries to help Dakota Kai, but then Unholy Union ends up coming out. They end up attacking Kairi Sane, getting payback for when Damage Control attacked them. This distracts Dakota Kai, which leads to Zoe Stark hitting the G316 and picks up the victory. I will say this real quick. People need to calm down with the hate that y'all are giving Zoe Stark. I get it. You want Dakota Kai to win, but people are only saying this because Dakota Kai recently came on her stream saying that she wants an opportunity and that she feels like she deserves to finally get a singles run, which she does. But here's the thing. If every wrestler did that, that means every wrestler would need a singles run and need a push. But the thing is, you can't push everyone at the same time. Also, Dakota Kai wouldn't have done anything in the Money Bank anyway because Io Sky is the star of that faction. Now, I think Dakota Kai is better than Io Sky in every way, but Io Sky is the star of that faction. So until she leaves the faction of Damage Control, she ain't getting a push. So her getting in the Money in the Bank doesn't really matter either way. She will be in the same position regardless. So the complaints that y'all have, y'all need to chill and calm down. Because either way, she was going to lose and she's going to be back in the same position she was before. So the Money in the Bank ladder match, her being in it, wouldn't have changed. Now we get Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas. He's getting interviewed, of course. They do what they did last with VHS tape. They play it. He's interviewing himself again. And then basically, Uncle Howdy is basically asking him that what is his message and why is he here? Bo Dallas ends up saying that he's here to make sure those people pay for their sins of betraying their family, because he would never leave his family. He would never betray them. So he's saying that everyone who betrays their family, who treat their family wrong, they are going to pay for their sins. And this leaves an interesting question, because this can leave room for a lot of people. Because this could leave room for a lot of wrestlers to basically pay for their sins. Because you can make an argument that Seth Rollins could be on that list, Jey Uso, Chad Gable. You can make an argument that even someone like Carmelo Hayes, because he betrayed Trick Wood. This leaves a lot of options for people. I'm interested to see who they were going to attack first. Now we get the main event. The last qualifying match for the men's side with Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Ilya Dragunov. This was great. This was an amazing match. Every competitor did their thing, especially Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov was going off in this match. Bro, he was amazing in this match, especially. He did a ring apron H-bomb onto Sheamus on the outside. Then he ended up doing a crazy H-bomb onto Drew McIntyre, then doing a senton right after, or it may have been the other way around. Then we got a sick sequence where Drew McIntyre tries to go for the Claymore, but ends up getting hit with the torpedo mask out by Ilya Dragunov. Then we had another one where Ilya Dragunov was just going crazy. He tries to do a coast to coast onto Sheamus, but Sheamus ends up catching him midair with the bro kick. Like, Ilya Dragunov was just going crazy. This was an amazing match. But we get towards the end. Sheamus ends up pulling Ilya Dragunov after Sheamus ends up hitting a bro kick on Ilya. He goes for the pin, pulls Ilya Dragunov out the ring to avoid it. Now we get 1v1 between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. They go back and forth, go back and forth. Sheamus ends up doing a knee, kneeing Drew McIntyre in the face, but Drew McIntyre ends up recovering, hits a Claymore, and he wins. And now he's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Raises a lot of questions on who wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, because it's actually very unpredictable and it's kind of iffy on how it could play out, but I'm very interested. I'm assuming CM Punk will be involved some shape or some way. He's going to be involved, either costing the match, maybe costing his cash in, but this is very interesting. I can't wait to see what's next. This was a great episode of Monday Night Raw. You guys let me know what your guys' opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, that's it.